Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiret. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रहे। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
So welcome you all once again, and today we'll continue our discussion on Canto 9 and Canto 10 in a very briefly. We'll see how much we can go on. If we cannot complete Canto 10 completely, then we'll continue tomorrow. Otherwise, let's try it. Okay. Yes. So it's Canto 9. Canto's name is Liberation or Moksha. So here, very nice pastimes are being there, and let's see a few of them. So first, Sukadeva Goswami describes about the dynasty of Manus, completely, all. Then, then he describes one of the pastimes of Ambrish Maharaj very nicely, and this is a great learning from where we get from Ambrish Maharaj. So we all know, what happened. Once Durvasa Muni, he came to Ambrish Maharaj, but it was a uh, Dwadasi day, and Ambrish Maharaj, so Durvasa Muni went to do his, bathing in the river, and then he got delayed, and the time for Parna, the Vadashi Parna was actually going ahead, so there was no option. And then by consulting with the sages, Durvasa Muni took a drop of water, and taking a drop of water also breaks the fasting and also doesn't break the fasting. So in this way he respected Durvasa Muni as well, and all the same time he respected Ekadashi Vrata as well. However, Durvasa Muni, he by his mystic power, he knew that Ambrish Maharaj had taken water, and then he this all pastime, he wanted to kill Ambrish Maharaj. He pull out one his hair and then pull a demon, Twasta. However, with all these things happened, Ambrish Maharaj didn't go an inch back after hearing that Durvasa Muni is trying to kill him. He was completely surrendered to Lord Sri Krishna. And we know Sudarshan Chakra came to save Durvasa Muni, and in fact he started running towards, his to save Ambrish Maharaj, and started running towards Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni, he started running, he ran so much, and he went to Lord Brahma, then Lord Shiva, then Lord Vishnu, and then then Lord Vishnu told that, okay, you have to take shelter of my devotees to whom you have offended. Krishna says, Aham Bhakta Parad, I am being, bound by my devotees, so you have to go there. And Ambrish Maharaj again, he he, he prays to Sudarshan Chakra, and then he saves Durvasa Muni as well. And after that, now the nice teachings comes from um, Ambrish Maharaj, I would like to read those two verses. 2 or 3 verses are there. It says, Soyamana Krishna Pradarvindayor Vajamshi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadeshu Shrutim Chakara Achyuta Shat Kathadeyo. So Ambrish Maharaj says that how Ambrish Maharaj is actually engaging his all the senses in the service of Lord Hari, and that is how we should try to do. I know we cannot imitate him, but we can try to engage our senses over there. Like Ambrish Maharaj always engage his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. So mind can be engaged in meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, and his words in describing the glories of Lord, his hands in cleaning the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. And Maharaj Ambrish engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temple, Krishna's place like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his senses of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotee. He engaged his senses of smell in smelling the fragrance of Tulsi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasad. Maharaj Ambrish engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and the temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord. 24 hours a day, indeed, Maharaj Ambrish never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. So that's a learning for us, that how can we engage our all senses, even subtle senses as well as the bodily senses as well, to engage in the service of Lord Hari. And at last, uh, Lord Vishnu instruct Durvasa Muni that no, uh, the pure devotee is always within my core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of the pure devotees. And my devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anything but them. So this is a way how we can know Krishna and how Krishna can know us. You know, in one of the lecture, my Guru Maharaj was saying that, so don't do service in the way that okay, Krishna will see me, I'll see Krishna, or he will glorify me. But do service in a such a way that Krishna know that, oh, there's a great devotee, let me go and meet him, let me see him. So that's the attitude for serving. That's called a selfless devotional service. Right. So in this way, Maharaj Ambrish being saved by Sudarshan Chakra, and Durvasa Muni was given a good lesson as well by Lord himself. And then Shobari Muni is past times being described. Shobari Muni, here also there's a learning come that Shobari Muni, he went to do austerity, he went inside the water, and he was meditating inside the water, and somehow or other he saw two fish meeting each other, and from there his desire to have wife came out, and then he came out from this from meditation and went to Mandhata king. He has I think nearly 50 daughters, and Shobari Mani, by his mystic power, he became all opulent, and all the daughters of Mandhata are being married to Shobari Mani. And later on, again, while time came, Shobari Mani renounced. At the same time, these 50 daughters or 50 wives of Shobari Mani, they also got liberated. They also play the same position. That's a nice pastime of Shobari Mani comes. And then the sons of Sagra Maharaj, they meet Kapila Dev. That has been described like, the Sagra Maharaj, we earlier discussed that Sagra Maharaj was doing a Rajaswi Yajna, and whenever there is Rajaswi Yajna, Lord Indra, he becomes a bit disturbed. So he used to take the horse, and somehow this Sagra Maharaj sons, so he has two wives, and one of his wives has all the sons. They went to find uh, the horse, and there they met Lord Kapil Dev. Because Lord Kapil Dev, we understood from Canto 3 that Lord Kapil Dev, after instructing Mother Dehuti, he went and he was actually in meditation, and these sons of Sagar Maharaj, they saw and thinking that he is the thief, and just by their ill thought towards Lord Hari, uh, they all burned into ashes because of their own deeds. And then one of the son of from other wives, that is Asmanjas. Asmanjas' sons was Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu, he again went to find where the horse is, and he could find Lord Kapil Dev. He understood everything. He paid obeisances to Lord Kapil Dev, and he brought back the horse. However, in the long run, this they could not deliver all these uh, sons of Shagramara, and in this lineage, we understand that Bhagiratha. So Bhagiratha, he came, and the teaching was given that only uh, Mother Ganges, she could deliver this Sagra son. So Bhagiratha did great austerity, and we see how he he brought uh, Mother Ganges from the spiritual world, from the heavenly kingdom to here. And Mother Ganges said that, if I'll come, my force is so high that I will pierce the earth as well. And then we see how Bhagiratha actually he did austerity to please Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva then he took Mother Ganges in his jata. And then when she came, Lord Bhagiratha actually he with his horse he ran so fast towards the sons of Sagar Maharaj there, and then they all got delivered from that. And then from there also this nice pastimes comes, that when Mother Ganges says that, okay, I'll come there, but all the sinful people, they will take bath in me and they will get purified. I will accumulate all the sins. So what of that? And then Bhagirath says that when the devotees will take bath in you, they will counteract all your sins. So that's again glorious of glories of devotees being described over in that pastime, right? And then Sukdev Goswami very briefly describes the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, saying that, Parshid Maharaj, you have been hearing along about Lord Ramchandra. So he briefly describes about Lord Ramchandra, his pastimes, and we know how Lord Ramchandra has, is Maryada Purushottam, and he's being well known. Even now also we wanted to have this Ram Rajya, but we are not willing to take shelter of Lord Ram. That's the only problem. We wanted to achieve Ram Rajya, but without taking shelter of Lord Ramchandra. And then, after describing Lord Ramchandra pastimes, Sukdev Goswami narrates about Lord Parshurama pastimes, which is a varied incarnation. So, Lord Parshurama actually, we have discussed earlier as well how Kartavirya Arjuna, who has thousands of hands, he somehow he reached uh, he reached the ashram of I think I forgot the name. Hmm. It skipped my mind. Jamadagni, yes, sorry, forgot it. So Jamadagni was the father of Parashuram, Lord Parashuram, and in the Kartavirya Arjuna went there, and then by seeing that Jamadagni had a Suravi cow, and she could produce whatever Jamadagni wanted, the rishi wanted. So he welcomed this Kartavirya Arjuna very nicely and very opulently, and Kartavirya Arjuna was actually astonished by seeing all these things. He said, "Okay, you are a rishi, and why do you need this cow? Give me." And then we all know the pastime, but at the end, Lord Parshurama, he goes and kills Kartavirya Arjuna, and again also to his sons, and in this way 21 times all Kshatriya has been killed by Lord Parshurama. So that's the glorious Lord Parshurama, warrior incarnation. And then there's a dynasty of all other kings like Puru, Purava, Yayati, sons of Yayati are being described there, all other kings. And then at the very last chapter of Canto 9, Sukadeva Goswami describes about Lord Sri Krishna very, very briefly, all his pastimes and very briefly, but uh, Parikshit Maharaj, he wanted to hear in elaborate way. So I've just noted down some things. I'll read it out. So he says that Sudha Goswami actually explains about the lineage, the dynasty of that. He says Chitraratha. So Chitraratha's sons become Viduratha, and Viduratha's son is Sura, and he has 10 sons, and chief of them was Vasudeva, and also Sura has 5 daughters. So and one of the daughter is called as Pritha, and Pritha was actually given to King Kunti, and King Kunti. That's why Kunti Maharani also known as Kunti. So it's Choti E and Badi E in Hindi, right? And so Kunti Maharani married again later to Maharaj Pandu. That's how Vasudeva. And then in this side of uh, Ahuka, his 2 sons Ugrashen and Devaka, and Ugrashen has 9 sons, and one of them was Kansa, and he has 5 daughters. And Devaka has 4 sons and 7 daughters, and one of those is Devaki. And by describing all this lineage, then Sukadeva Goswami narrates about how all the pastimes happened of Lord Sri Krishna. But as that was very briefly, so uh, Parikshit Maharaj wanted to hear in an elaborate way, and that's how it comes, Canto 10, thus Samanbanam. So where all the pastimes of Lord Hari is being described very nicely. So we'll try to cover as much as possible today, and let's see. Canto 10, the advent of Lord Krishna is being says how this Mother Earth, actually Mother Earth, he was tormented by all these kings, sinful kings, and she went to Lord Brahma for protection, and Lord Brahma with Lord Shiva and all others devatas, they actually went to Lord Vishnu in Garbhoda Kavashan. They prayed Purusha Shukta prayers, and Lord said, okay, he instructed Lord Brahma within his heart that, okay, you all go and take birth, uh, and I will be coming soon. And that's how the Brajavasi and many devatas, many devatas and the wife of those, their amsas came there, and that happens. And then when Mother Devaki had Krishna within her womb, the prayers they pray, the devatas, they all prayed her. I'll read a couple of those actually. So this says that so the prayers by the devatas to Lord Sri Krishna in Devaki's wombs, they say, "O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nations, one follows in the footsteps of Mahajanas, a great saints, sages, and devotees. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nations as easily as one step over the hoof print of a calf." So this ocean of nations is very, very difficult to cross, isn't it? However, one who takes the shelter of Lord's lotus feet, who meditate on the Lord's lotus feet, and taking in the footstep of Mahajana or great acharyas, they can cross this ocean very nicely. And I think it was Amarendra Prabhu describing it nicely. He says, Lord Rama, he could actually made the bridge so that all the Vanars they cross India to go to Lanka. However, Krishna's devotees, or Krishna, he makes the whole ocean as in the footprint of a calf, so that anyone can cross very easily. So that's how glories of Lord Sri Krishna. And then uh, the Devatas, they nicely says that, O Lord, your transcendental name, form are not ascertained by those who merely speculate on the path of imagination. Your name, form, and attributes can be ascertained only through devotional service. To how to know Krishna, that comes point here. To know Krishna, that can only be by devotional service. Krishna says very nicely, isn't it, in Bhagavad Gita? There are so many verses in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says how by performing devotional service unto Lord one can understand Him. Otherwise, mata paratram nanyat. Lord says, Krishna, there is nothing beyond me. The only problem is that we do not try to accept this. Right? And then after that, uh, the birth of Lord Krishna is being described. So it happened that we've seen the lineage of uh, Vasudeva and Devaki. So it happened that the marriage of Vasudeva and Devaki has been made, and after the marriage, when uh, I think we all know this pastime, that how when Vasudeva was coming back with Devaki, and there are so many gifts being given, and Kansa, he being affectionate to his sister Devaki, cousin sister, so he wanted to drive the chariot and to. However, there's a woman came from the cloud and it says, from sky word that your sister's eighth child will become the cause of your death, and that the demonic nature arose from Kansas, and he wanted to kill uh, Mother Devaki. However, as being newly wedded wife of Vasudeva tried to convince uh, Kansa in all respect, and though he failed every attempt, and at last he said, okay, you have the fear from the child from Devaki, so I promised you I'll bring all the child as soon as they take birth to you. Because Vasudeva was known earlier, the people, they were known by their words. So once they speak the word, that becomes their identity as well, and they do not deviate from their words. So that's how Kansa could leave them. And then we know that how after first birth, uh, Lord, Vasudeva, he brought the child, and the Kansa, though he said, okay, I fear from eighth child, you can go back. But Lord Narad Muni, he came in between and he intervened, giving example that, if you count the flower petals, anyone can be eight. If you count the oranges, anyone can be eight. And Krishna Vishnu is so tricky, he can trick you. And that was the actual plan. So, and then Kansa, by this, he took back uh, Vasudeva, and he put Vasudeva and Devaki in prison, and he killed one by one 6 newborn childs. And the seventh one, by the instruction of Maya Devi, she transferred the Garbha from Mother Devaki to Mother Rohini, and then we see Lord Balrama came. And the eighth one, Lord Sri Krishna, he himself come. He entered into the mind of mind of Vasudeva first, and Vasudeva was shining like sun, and then from his mind, and then he entered into the minds of Mother Devaki, and then Mother Devaki was started shining like a moon, and then Lord appeared, and where Lord appeared in his four-handed form, Vishnu form, wife, with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and he was as good as complete human being, full youth, not human being, but very complete youth. But Mother Devaki and Vasudeva both, they both with folded hands pray to Lord, and then Mother Devaki says, please become a small child. And then Lord inspired Vasudeva to take him to Gokul and exchange the child of the Maya Devi, which is being born by Mother Yashoda. And then we see eighth child to eighth child hold by Kansa was a female, and Kansa could not believe it, but still he killed the eighth child, and he tried to kill, in fact, and she flew in the sky and says, the your death has already been appeared. And then after that, Kansa, he started doing all his kind of his all evil activities towards killing all this newborn child in all these areas. And then he sent so many demons to attack all the children, even all the newborn babies. But uh, as Paramatma is inside the heart, and the first demon was sent as Putana, and Putana, the devotee explained very nicely that how could Putana enter uh, in the Nanda Maharaj palace. She could have entered anyone anywhere else, but it's been described by devotee that Krishna as a Paramatma is present in the heart of everyone. So he guided Putana to enter into Nanda Maharaj house and to catch her own death. That is Lord Sri Krishna. And the Putana being killed, then so many demons like Agashur, Dhenukashur, Trinavrata, Pralambashur, Keshi, Vyoma, and all are being killed in Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan without using any weapon. So just by playingly, Lord Krishna killed so many demons over there. And it's not about the kind of age. Even just 4 or 5 days, Lord Krishna could kill Putana. And in his growing year 1 and 2, and he started killing so many demons, right? And then uh, what the next? Yes. So here, then once these the friends of Lord Krishna, when started playing, they complained to Mother Yashoda that he is eating dirt. And by hearing, Mother Yashoda wanted to see the mouth of Lord Krishna, and Krishna said, "No, I haven't eaten anything." But as Krishna told, "Okay, you can see me. You can see my mouth." And when Krishna opened the mouth, Mother Yashoda could see whole universe within the mouth of Lord Hari. Right. So that's how Krishna shows his transcendental form, transcendental creation to Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda became fainted, and she actually forgot everything. So you may say that, okay, she could see, and how she could forget. So the thing that Lord Krishna wanted to have these pastimes of Vatsalya. Otherwise, if Mother Yashoda understand that, okay, he is Supreme Lord, then the love and affection could be something different. Like Mother Yashoda and Mother Devaki, she has the love for Lord Krishna as all reverences, because she knew that he is Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Mother Yashoda says, no, he is only my son, nothing else. Uh, I think I was hearing a lecture by Sarvabhauma Prabhu, and he was saying once in one of the past times, I think, yeah, it's in Okhal Bandhan Leela. That's coming next. I'll say about there. Yeah, in Damodar Leela. So once what happened in just in before Deepavali, and Mother Yashoda, she wanted to churn, because all the gopis, they are complaining that Krishna comes to our house and he used to steal the butter. And then Mother Yashoda thought, okay, let me churn uh, butter for my Gopal and Krishna. And as she was churning, she was actually singing very nice song by the glorification of Lord pastimes, and her and bangles, they were making very rhythmic sounds, and the churning of the pot, and uh, her yeah, earrings and others, they were making very instrumental sound as well. And Lord Krishna, he was sleeping, he woke up, and he wanted to have mother's milk. And as Krishna came, and then we know that Krishna, there is a milk pot was actually boiling, and the milk pot, he thought, okay, now Krishna is drinking mother's milk, so what is my use? And he started over boiling over that. And then Mother Yashoda kept aside Krishna and ran towards the keeping the taking the milk. And then Lord Krishna, he did his mischief work. He started throwing all the butters and uh, breaking the pots. And then when Mother Yashoda came, she could see everything what's happening, and she ran after this Nandalal, Lord Krishna. and she caught hold of Lord at the time, and then she bound him with the mortal, the grand mortal. And in this past times, once Sarvam Prabhu was saying that Lord Balram, he says, whom are you binding? He is Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says, who are you? He says, I am Balram. then Prabhu, Sarvam Prabhu was saying that, okay, so all Krishna and all the gods, they are about to come only in my house. Huh? You are just my children. And then she started, chasing Balram as well. And then we know from this pastime that Lord Krishna, actually in this pastime, he liberated two devatas who are actually by the curse of Lord Narada Muni, they have become tree. So true Arjuna tree in front of Nanda Maharaj house, this Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they are being delivered by this. So by the wooden mortar, Krishna, went there and he broke these two giant trees. So just see the Herculean pastimes of Lord Hari in what small ages as well. So though he has taken a form of small child, but still he is complete supreme personality of Godhead, right? And then these two are being delivered, and then when Lord Krishna, actually he used to go all the time to Vrindavan forest with all these coward boys and the cows, and there uh, Brahmaji, he actually, by seeing, actually what happened before this pastime of Agashur. So after killing of Agashur, when the Agashur, his spark went to the spiritual world, toward that, by seeing this, Lord Brahma became a bit, conscious. So he could not see how it has happened. And then he saw, and that this Krishna is actually playing with his coward boys, and he actually, like anything, we need to offer the bhoga very nicely, with opulently, with following things very lightly, ringing the bell, playing the console and chanting the mantras. But now Krishna is actually eating their all, remnants, janjutas kind of things. And how it's possible? It's not Krishna. So to test him, to test Krishna, Brahma, he actually took away this all these cows as well as the gopas. He hid him, and but as Lord Brahma hid everyone, Lord Krishna understood very well, and he expanded himself into as number of coward boys, as number of the cows, and this happens for a whole year, right? So that's the Brahma Vimohan Lila. And then Lord Brahma comes and prays to Lord Sri Krishna. And this actually, these prayers, Lord Brahma's prayer in chapter 14 are very, very glorious. And if you can chant these mantras, these prayers are very, very nice actually. It makes us more humbler to us. I'll read a couple of those. What Lord Brahma says, that this very famous verse, actually 10, 14, and 8. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances within his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So we have to wait patiently. Sometimes we say, okay, we are chanting the holy name now, but when will I get clear with all my anarthas? So we have to wait for that patiently. And then Lord Brahma says very nicely, these are very nice prayers. He says, my Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet. So anyone who is favored by a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the supreme personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many, many years. So studying Vedas, speculating ourselves, we won't be able to understand Krishna. But with a slight trace, by the mercy of Lord Hari, we can understand him. And how can we get mercy? that is by following the footstep of acharyas, as we discussed earlier. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadanchite jnanam jnani tato tarshina. Because these great acharyas, the great devotees, they have actually seen the truth, and that's how they can they can guide us towards understanding Krishna. See, very very important point comes here actually, how to understand Krishna, isn't it? That's a learning. I'll give a material example. Sorry for that, but if you want to study mathematics, there is a lot thing needed, isn't it? We can't say, okay, I'm learning mathematics, I'll solve the problems. We can solve, but how? By learning the formulas, by remembering how to apply the formulas, by taking a shelter of a teacher who can teach us properly the rules and regulations of mathematics. And then at the end, important is practice. So practice is required, faith is required, enthusiasm is required, patience is required, isn't it? So these all things are required to just try to learn a small material kind of thing, mathematics. Then without this attitude to surrender to Lord Hari's devotees, to take shelter of Lord Hari, to in fact to accept faithfully the words of Krishna, and as it says in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, how can we say that we can understand Krishna? It's not possible, isn't it? That's what Lord Brahma is saying. Even a slight trace of your mercy, one can understand everything. However, on the other hand, if you want to speculate and start studying the Vedas for many, 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 many years, they won't be able to understand Krishna. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedesha Vedesha Sarvesh Am Evo Vedyo. So all the Vedas are actually to know Krishna. And Krishna says nicely, there are many, many verses in Bhagavad Gita, how to know Krishna, how to surrender Krishna. Krishna clearly says that Sarva Dharma Pratyaja Mamekam Saranam Bhaja. Are clear instructions, isn't it? Anyway, uh, that going to another point. However, and then we've seen that very nicely, the dancing of Lord Krishna under the head of Kalia. It is again a pastime where Kalia has came into this Yamuna river, and he's actually making poisonous. Even the birds who are traveling, who are flying on on top of Yamuna, because of Kalia's poison, they are dying, and no one was actually used to take the you know take water in the Yamuna. So to subdue Kalia. See, the point here is all the demons are being killed, but Kalia being subdued. Why? Because at the end, Kalia surrendered to Lord Sri Krishna. All his wife of Kalia, they pray to Lord Krishna and say, please forgive our husband, forgive the snake, isn't it? That's how Krishna just subdued. He subdued the anger, not anger, the proudness of Kalia, but as later on he surrendered. So the the skin of snakes are very slippery, and we see in the past times how with the thousands of hoods, this Kalia was wanted to bite Krishna from all his hood, but as soon as he wanted to bite Krishna, Krishna would jump on his hood and subdue it, and again started jumping from one to one to one to one, right? So that's how uh, this Kalia was completely baffled by dancing of Lord Sri Krishna. And all these Brajavasis, they actually saw how Krishna was dancing on the head of Kalia's hood. So that's how Krishna subdued Kalia, and then Kalia went back, leaving this Yamuna and all. And then once this all uh, the coward boys and the cows, they were actually on the forest, and the cows, they went far, and this all boys went to find it out, and somehow other they got fire actually. And Krishna asked them, okay, just close your eyes. And as soon as they closed the eyes, Krishna swallowed all this fire, forest fire, and everything is gone. So that's how Krishna is. And then he did all the pastimes. And whenever this gopas, they used to come back to their house, and they used to glorify Lord Krishna's pastime every day. Right? Was the time? Oops. So okay. So I think there are so many other points, but let's try to complete it here, the last one, and then we'll continue tomorrow over this. Is that okay for everyone? Because I think we have just reached till, I guess, 30%, not till yet, of this chapter, of this canto, sorry. So what happens? So once this Gopagan with Krishna, they were all went to forest for playing, and they all became maybe thirsty and hungry. And there's the Brahmanas, they actually were preparing for a sacrifice, but Krishna told to them, okay, you can go in the village and ask these Brahmanas to get some food for us. And when they went there, these Brahmanas, they ignored the request of these small boys, the coward boys. Then when they came back and they say, okay, you go now to the wives of Brahmanas and say that, okay, Krishna and Balram are here and they are waiting, they are hungry, they are waiting for some food. And when this Brahmana's wife, they heard it, without any second thought, they actually put all this, food to Lord Krishna, and even they don't wanted to go back as well, right? However, Krishna says, you should go back, and everyone will accept you. Don't worry for that. And that's how Krishna blessed this Brahmana's wife as well. So we'll continue from here tomorrow. I think we have all more things. Is that okay for everyone? We'll continue tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll go till 9:30.
No problem, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Actually, I think I'm sorry if I'm going a bit fast. Okay, anyone have any question or any thought or anyone to share something as well? Okay, so I think I've got one of the answer which we asked by Mintu Prabhu. By seeing you, I remembered it. So your question was that how did Prahlad Maharaj became so pure devotee of Lord, isn't it? Because it comes from previous life. So I got the answer. It's being said by one devotee, I think Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. He says that in Narsingh Purana, it being mentioned that in a previous life, Prahlad Maharaj actually he was in a discussion with a prostitute, and he became angry to that prostitute, and for the whole night he was he didn't eat anything, he didn't sleep, and it was complete kind of a brata. He was all austerity and that night, and that night happens to be Lord Narsingh Chaturdashi. So this is called Agyata Shruti, Agyata Shukruti. So without knowledge, he got the Shukruti, and because of that, he became Prahlad Maharaj in the next birth. So this Agyata Shukruti, what does that mean? Basically, somehow or other, unknowingly, if someone does observe something, like observing a Janmashtami fasting, right? Let's suppose it is Janmashtami day and we are out somewhere and where you could not eat anything or do anything, unknowingly we have fasted for the whole day as Janmashtami. That's called Agyata Sukriti. Agyata means without knowing, but we are getting the pious result, Sukriti. Or serving someone, serving a Brahman or a devotee unknowingly, and that Sukruti that comes to us, and that actually elevates us to the next level. So that's how what I got to know from our senior devotees about this answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anyone, any other questions? Okay, no, so we can stop. We continue tomorrow. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय
पाद की
जय
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
Hare
हरे